Your great rising team. Hope you guys are all doing well. Alright. Let's see what is left for us for today. Right, so let's speak about AU first. Where we at? What are we looking for? Right, again, we still know we're trading higher high, higher low. On the 4-hour time frame, right, we're still trading higher high, higher low, higher high. I still like that we're below the 50 EMA, but we're still in an uptrend, right? The only thing that's on a downtrend is a 30-minute. Once we got this change, right, gave us a lower low, lower high on the 800 EMA. So that's the only good thing about AU, right? But currently, 2 days of rise, right? At this point, we have a very steep pullback. Could price come back up? Absolutely, no doubt about it, right? So AU is still one I'm going to be taking very slowly, right? I'm not gonna be doing nothing crazy with AU. We're gonna let price do what it has to do. Gonna turn off AU for now. AUD CAD pretty similar. Gonna turn AUD CAD off. Alright. With EA, let's calculate STP for these pairs as well, so we know what's left for us for today. 111 minus 33% is 74 pips for today, and we already did 70 pips for the day. We're still in the zone of consolidation. We're at the top of the zone of consolidation, right? Pretty much like what we said yesterday with EA, we'll catch the 372, right? So today's the second day of rise. If price decides to give us that second day of rise towards the end of the day, then tomorrow is when we will start looking to take these trades. What I'm looking for are engulfing candles. We don't have a valid engulfing candle, so EA, will keep an eye on EA. We'll definitely be back to look at this tonight during the isolation session to try to catch that trade for tomorrow. ECAD, we're still in that zone of consolidation at a higher high. Right, ECAD is one that already reached the previous peak high, so ECAD I'm not going to be trading it. Again, the only way I'll take a trade on ECAD is if we have that continuation pattern 372. Right, we're still trading lower low, lower high, lower low. Right, all of this is a lower low. This is not lower low, lower high, lower low, higher high, lower low. No, all of this is part of the same trade. Lower low. Very similar to EA. If price gives us 3 days of rise, we'll take that third day, that 372. For EU, 2 days of rise, right? Again, could price give us that third day? Definitely could. No doubt. For me, like what we said yesterday, it's very low probability just based off the fact that we're trading at a higher high. On the 4-hour time frame, we also had 2 weeks of counter drop, this week being the third week. Right, let's see if price wants to give us a steeper pullback. Right, at this point, price is almost already at that TP spot, so I'll keep this one on. For GA, I'm looking for price to break these highs, right? Or we'll be looking for a continuation pattern. So I'll be looking at GA tonight. We'll update it during the isolation session, and we'll look for our trades going into tomorrow for GA. GCAD, we're still sitting at the higher high, right? Price did not give us a valid break of these highs, so we cannot say that this is higher high, higher low, higher high going into a higher low. Right, We know that overall, pretty much stuck in this range, pretty big range. Right, at 3 weeks of drop, market must move sideways or go up. So again, very similar to the other pairs. Right now, since we know this week price could just move sideways, what am I looking for? I'm looking for a continuation. 2 days of rise, we'll take the third day. So again, if price today finishes at the top, then perfect, we'll take the trade tomorrow. But we can see how price is already reacting. We already know what the deal is. After 3 weeks, the market must move sideways or go down. That's exactly what's going on. So GCAT is another one for today. I'm not going to be trading it. We'll wait it out. GJ doing a lot of people dirty, man. Let me tell you. GJ is doing a lot of people dirty. Those people who want to see this gap being filled, man, you have to wait for the opportunity to enter the trade. If you get in too early, you're getting spiked in and out of trades the entire time. Right? We already have exhaustion candles at the highs. So I already know this is not going to be a pair that I'm going to be looking for to take those trades. For today at least. Right? On the 4-hour time frame, we have an engulfing candle being printed, but go ahead and delete this. Not a valid engulfing candle. We don't have a top wick on that red candle. And on the 30-minute, again, what is price doing? Consolidating, just moving sideways. Again, what is a zone of consolidation? A zone of consolidation is, oh, it's just moving sideways. No, what is it? What makes up a zone of consolidation? An area in the market where the market makers are trapping traders, inducing traders, making you believe that you see what you want to see to hunt for stop losses. That is what a zone of consolidation is. That's exactly what's going on here. Just hunting for stop losses the entire time. The entire time. GJ, gonna turn it off. It's gonna be that simple. I don't see what I want to see on the charts. I'm not gonna trade it. Right? Yesterday we spoke about this 5-minute engulfing as to why it was a low probability as well. Right? We have the change of character, we have the break, we have a retest. However, am I expecting price to go up? No. I'm treating GU the same way that I'm treating what's the other pair that on the 800? GA. Right? We're right on the 800 EMA. Same thing here, right on the 800. So what do I want to see? Right? First, I want to see price break above the 800 EMA. The second thing is the 372. If we could get price today to give us a second day of rise, then we already know that for tomorrow, we'll take the third day back to the top side. Right? But the first thing that we want to see is price break above the 800. So right now, just taking a step back. A lot of these pairs, like what we said yesterday, guys, today might be a very slow day. Right? We had news for GBP at 5 in the morning, and as we could see with the GBP pairs, there wasn't really nothing too crazy. 8:30 we have news for USD medium impact, so it shouldn't be nothing too crazy. But we just have to wait for price to develop, guys. What do you think EMAs work? Well, at this point, I've been using EMAs. Well, let's take a step back, right? So the person I learned from, right, Steve Morrow and E, which is another person that does these sessions here in our group, started learning it in 2015, 2014. So at this point, the best answer I could give you for that one is backtesting. I've been using the same strategy for over 10 years. Everything has been, again, backtested on over 20, 30 pairs, going from the regular Forex pairs to the indexes, to the commodities, to crypto. As you can see, all my charts are marked up the same way, right? Only difference, obviously, some pairs are in an overall uptrend, some are in an overall downtrend. So that's really what it is. It's all about backtesting, what works, what doesn't work. That's really all that it is. Right, and what they are, because that's another thing, right? A lot of people think that EMAs were man-made, right? It's not. It's part of the market, right? It's a tool that's part of the market that you can use, right? The same thing as the volume, The same thing as the RSIs, right? The biggest problem is a lot of people don't know how to use them, right? So a lot of information that you see about EMAs online, it's a lot of it is not real. A lot of it is just not hasn't been back tested, right? But for this, I could tell you, as you can see, we look at what 16 pairs here on this session, but before we were on YouTube, we were looking at 27 pairs every single day. Back testing it again on TradingView is a little bit more difficult compared to when MT4 was a thing, because you have a certain amount of bars that you could use, but all our pairs are updated and they're marked up from on MT4. I could pull up MT4 and you can see it, but all my charts on MT4 are updated from or back tested from 2008 till recent time. So that's really, again, this is all about back testing what works, what doesn't work, from a downtrend up to the uptrend, and then from the uptrend back to the downtrend, right, to where we're at now. We're looking for price to give us another low to go back up, right? How do we use the EMAs on the daily time frame? Very simple. In level 1, you want to see the 50 cross below the 200. That's when this trend will start, right? That level 2, the 50 and the 200 cross below, right? And this is where level 2 started, right? In level 3, you want to see the 200 cross below the 800, which happened here. Then we got in the zone of consolidation, going back into level 3, going back down to the bottom, right? You're always going to have 2 zones of consolidation. You're always going to have 3 pushes to the bottom or 3 pushes to the top. The same thing, right? This is a picture perfect, literally a picture perfect pair to look at. Level 1, first zone. Level 2, second zone. Level 3, back to the peak high territory. From peak high, you're going to go right back down to the bottom. Push 1, push 2, push 3, right? Depends on what level you're on. All depends on what EMA you're looking for. And to give you that example, that was one of the trades that we took on US oil yesterday, right? Yesterday was a picture perfect trade. Why? We're in level 2. In level 2, we want to see price bounce off the 200 EMA. So if you notice it, right, once price gave us the trend, you have lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, right? If you go down to the 4-hour, once price gave us that lower high and started trending down, my bad, I just skipped a step. Just woke up. Brain's a little foggy. Right? Lower low, lower high. Once we started trending down, where were we? On the 200 EMA. Right? Bouncing off the 200 EMA, what did price give us? Exhaustion candles. Right? Inducement to the highs. Once we already saw that, we started looking for our entries. Going into the 30-minute time frame, right? What did we start seeing? Right, we had this push to the top side. Price gave us a change of character, gave us the break of structure, gave us the retest. We had the 4-hour engulfing candle, which was the retest. We had the 200 EMA as well to go straight down, right? And then we know we were looking for that third push to the bottom, and it gave us the entry yesterday before the market closed. And I don't hold trades from one session to the next. So unfortunate, this one was given to us straight into profit, and this would have been the entry right there. That little wick on the retest of the 15-minute engulfing candle, the same entry that we took yesterday on the 4-hour. Gotcha. I'm really interested in how you trade. Is there a video that thoroughly explains what you do? Yeah, so if you go into our YouTube channel, all the videos that we do are live sessions. So if you go to the live session tab, pretty much if you want to go back to the last 3 years, all the videos that are titled the weekly market breakdown, which is the session that we do every Sunday, those are the best videos to watch. And the reason why is because those are the sessions that we break down every single pair, and we update every single pair from the top to the bottom. So if you want to go back and watch any of the live sessions, again, the ones that are titled weekly market breakdown, those would be the best ones to watch. Alright, let's get back into this real quick. Let's check if there's anything else left for us for today. So GU, we know we're looking for price to bounce off. Now, to answer another question that you might have, well, why the 800? Right? It's again, you just got to know what the EMAs are, right? The 800 EMA on the chart it acts as a support. Price is always going to respect the 800 EMA. So very similar to what we're looking at on EU, right? At one point, or not EU, what trade was it? Damn, what GCAD? Nah, was it GCAD? I don't remember now. Damn. GA, right? Very similar to GA. Right now we're on the 800 EMA. We already were here once and look what happened. Rejected the highs, went back down. Could the same thing happen here, that price is rejecting the highs to go back down? Absolutely. But that's why we're going to wait for the confirmation, right? Because not only will price break above the 800 EMA, but we will also get the break, right? The break of structure after the change of character, right? Before this, what were we doing? Lower low, lower high, right? Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Then price gave us higher high, change of character, higher low. So in order for us to look for that trend shift, right, in order for the trend to shift, you need to see a break of structure after the change of character. So that's rule number one. Rule number two, the 800 EMA. Price respects the 800 EMA. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for price to give me the break, right, give us that second day rise, and then tomorrow is when I'll be looking for a pullback to get into the trade to give us that 372, that third push back to the top side. Right, so a lot of these pairs are pretty much moving very similarly. What's good, Albert? Welcome to stream, my brother. Great rising, great rising. NZD USD. Let's see, it gave us a little 1 hour engulfing candle, gave us the retest, straight to profit. Now the question is, let's do STP real quick. 52 is ADR minus 33%, 34 pips is STP. And we've already done 30 pips, okay. Let's see if we could find another entry on NZD USD, right? NZD USD, we know we have 2 weeks of drop. This week being the third week, we're looking for that third week low. The only bad thing, especially what we explained yesterday, is NZD USD, yes, even though we're in an overall uptrend, we're still trading at the low of consolidation, right? At the low of consolidation, price is still giving us higher high, higher low, higher high, right? So just have to be very careful taking these trades right now on NZD USD. Let's go down to a lower time frame, see if we see any engulfing candles, anything that we could take here. Right, on the 5-minute time frame, we had the change of character, we had the break of structure. Alright, then price gave us low, lower, high, lower, low. Could we say this is just the inducement and not count this as lower, low, lower, high, lower, low, higher, high on the lower time frame? We could, right? We technically could, because price never gave us a valid break. This was just a testing candle. We have no engulfing candles on the lower time frame either, so we'll just have to be patient with this. There's not much we could do. We'll see if we get a steeper pullback. That'd be perfect. If I could get price to give us a steeper pullback somewhere around this area, then that'll be pretty good. We'll keep an eye on NZD USD. Right, we're looking for price to give us that third week low, that continuation. So this one would be a pretty good trade to catch. US 30 is not going to give us an opportunity anymore. It gave it to us already. Right, is this a valid engulfing candle? Right, top wick, red wick is not valid. Nope, not a valid engulfing. The red candle does not have a bottom wick. Right, we had a 4-hour engulfing that price missed by a few pips. But that's a very big zone to trade on US 30, so I wouldn't be even looking at that 4-hour engulfing to take a trade. On the 15-minute time frame, we had an engulfing candle, right? Green, green, red. Next candle came in, gave us a retest, right? Would have been a nice 17 pip stop loss on US 30 to go straight down into profit, right? So US 30 is another one, we'll keep an eye on it. we'll see what price end up doing. We won't turn it off. We'll see if it gives us another opportunity to trade, but at this point, I don't think we'll get an opportunity. The next opportunity we'll have on US 30 would be if we have a change of character, break of structure, which at this point we had higher high, higher low, higher high. Price came down, gave us a lower low, change of character, lower high, and we're looking for a break of these lows, right? So this will be our next opportunity to trade. If we could get a valid break, again, just because this red candle closed below does not mean it's a break. This is still a testing candle. A valid break of structure will be if we have another candle that closes below this red candle's wick. If price could give us a break of the wick, a valid break of these lows, then we'll start looking to take a trade on the pullback, right? We'll be looking for price to do something like this at this point, give us a valid break, give us a pullback to then continue. So NZ or US 30 will just have to be patient. USD CAD, right, gave us inducement to the lows. Let's start looking to take trades on USD CAD. Gave us a crazy wick to the bottom, right, which at these bottoms we also had that 1 hour engulfing, so it disrespected this area. That's okay. We said this yesterday. What are we looking for on USD CAD before we could start looking to take trades? I need to see an inducement of the low. Alright, so we got the inducement. Now we got to start looking for price to start making higher highs and higher lows. That's it. It's really that simple. Right, and right now we're still making lower lows and lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Right, again, this is lower low, lower high, lower low. Gave us a fake little change of character to the top side. Right, and then price gave us lower low. So right now we just got to be a little patient. Then no engulfing candles on any time frame, so we'll wait this one out. We'll see what happens. I wanted to go back to yesterday's isolation after I passed out, but you mentioned the term for a sharp pullback. I forgot the word you mentioned. For a sharp pullback? There is no term for a sharp pullback. It's just a pullback. It's just a valid pullback. For you to have a valid pullback, you need to have in order for you to have a pullback, you need to have a sharp pullback, right? Or for example, if you have 2 days of drop and then price gives you a very steep pullback, right? If it goes up too much, then you know you're not going to get that 372, or vice versa. If you have 2 days of rise and then on the second day price gives you a very steep pullback, then you know you won't have that third day push. But unless I'm having a brain fart, no, there's no term. There is no other term for a pullback. It's just a pullback. The one I said I nearly missed. Oh, an imbalance is what you're talking about. What pair was it on? I forgot. But I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that's an imbalance. But that's not a pullback. Imbalance is again just whenever there's news or something happens where the market is moving way too fast and it gives you those really, really big candles. Those are called imbalance moves. That one? Gotcha. Yeah, that's an imbalance. USDs are looking for the same thing on CAD, right? Right now we still know we're trading lower low, lower high, lower low. Right, price gave us a little inducement of the lows once again, very similar to USD CAD. We're trading between this 30-minute low and this 30-minute high over here. Look to see if we have any engulfing candles here at the lows. Nothing on the 4, nothing on the 1 hour, nothing on the 30. Okay. We'll keep an eye on USDZR since we still have enough room to play with here. Gold. see what we could catch today on gold, man. Again, gold at this point, I'm really not interested in trading it. Reason why, where are we? Middle of the zone of consolidation. Price just moving sideways. Again, zone of consolidation is what? An area in the market where the market makers are trapping traders. They're inducing traders. Again, it's very simple, right? We're moving sideways, right? If we go to lower time frames, how are they trapping traders, right? Yo, how are they trapping traders? Well, let's go look at it, right? Inside of a zone of consolidation, it gave us a smaller zone of consolidation on the 30 minute. So wouldn't this be ideal to be, I'm not going to name drop any traders, but hey, we're consolidating, we broke, we should be looking for a break and a retest to continue. Yeah, ideally that happens. However, we're trading an internal zone of consolidation when we're sitting inside of an external zone of consolidation. So what does that mean? Somebody's going to get faked out, and I'm not going to be part of that. I'm okay, right? We still have this 4-hour engulfing candle at the lows, right? We still have these gaps at the bottom of the market. Now, do I think gold is going to be on a downtrend? Not anytime soon, right? Not anytime soon, unless we're wrong. But at this point, with all the things going on worldwide, I don't think we'll start that downtrend push on gold anytime soon. With that being said, what am I going to do today? I'm going to sit gold out. There's nothing for me to trade here, right? Price gave us a crazy push yesterday with no news, right? No Forex factory news, but there was news yesterday. If you guys are looking at government stuff and all that, there was a lot of news yesterday. With that being said, I am expecting price to give me a steeper pullback. And again, the fact that we have this 4-hour engulfing candle at the low, I am at least expecting price to give us a steep pullback back down to the bottom. With that being said, let's look to see if we have any engulfing candles. Nothing on the 4-hour, nothing on the 1-hour, nothing on the 30. And then on the 15-minute, we do have an engulfing candle here going short, but price never gave us the retest. So what I want to see now on the 5-minute is the structure shift, right? So we had higher high, higher low, boom, higher high. Then price gave us a lower low change of character. Right, and then price gave us lower low. The break, did we get a valid break? All of these were testing until we had these lows down here. Boom, the break. So we have a 5-minute break. And we know that we're trading between this lower high over here and this lower low. Now, does this mean you have a change of character, break of structure? Does it mean I'm taking a trade still? No. Once again, we're in the middle of a zone of consolidation on gold. I'm not taking no trades here. No trades right now. Gonna wait this one out. Gonna keep it on. We'll wait till 8:30. We have news at 8:30, and then we'll go on from there. And then Bitcoin for the day already hit STP, is a few pips away from the ADR, which is 323 pips. So Bitcoin is already done for the day. So as of right now, the picture perfect trade was really US oil that gave us that trade yesterday at 3 p.m. Right, that was a picture perfect trade. 2 days of drop. We already know that for today we were looking for prices to give us a new low. This one was a picture perfect trade yesterday. Would have been great to catch that, but again, I don't hold trades from one session to the next. You get hit with swap fees and commission fees and all these other fees that hit your account when you hold a trade from one session to the next, or when you hold trades during the weekends. That also happens. If you were to be scalping, what's the max time frame you would be looking at? For bias, I would always say it, in order for you to be a good scalper, let me reword that. That sounds really bad. In order for you to be a consistent trader, it doesn't matter what type of style of trading you're doing, you should always be looking at the daily, the 4-hour, and the 30-minute, right? Because if you know where you're at, right, and I'll give you the example, right? let's give you the example with like a clear chart, something that would make sense, right? On Euro USD, where are we? On the daily time frame, in the market structure, you're trading at a higher high. So already understanding, right? What's one thing that you always see traders mark up whenever they're trying to teach you how to trade, right? They're always grabbing a path to and they're telling you, oh, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, right? So but why is it that every time you see them hop on the actual chart, they're always taking some bullshit trades, right? Why is that? Because they don't really see structure when it comes to the candlesticks. It confuses them. But it's the same thing. So right now on EU, where are we? We're trading at a higher high. What do we know about market structure? Does market structure go higher high, higher high, higher high? Right? Or does market structure go higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low? Right? You're looking for higher high, higher low. Right? So let's start putting the pieces together. Right? In level 2, what are we looking for? We know we're looking for price to bounce off the 200 EMA. So how far back are we expecting this higher high, higher low to go down to? We're expecting it to at least go down to the 200 EMA. What other confluence do we have on our chart? We have a gap in the market here at the bottom. It's a 30-minute gap at the bottom of the market. So in this area alone, not only would it be a higher low, but it'll also be price bouncing off the 200 EMA, but it would also be price filling in that gap in the 30-minute time frame. So now you'd be asking, well, what does that mean? What does this have to do with scalping? It's very simple, right? When you're scalping, you want to make sure that you catch the best trade possible to not get into drawdown. So the fact that you already know you're trading at a higher high going into a higher low, this is where you can start ping-ponging from one area to the next if you're a scalper. Right? Now when you go into the 30-minute time frame, you know what you're looking for. Right? On the 30-minute time frame, you're looking for price to start going down. Right? What you need to start looking for is the inducements of the highs, whatever your entry confirmation is. Like for example, right now on Euro USD, that's one thing about us here. I don't trade going counter trend. Right? I'm only trading with the trend. Very similar to what's going on with AU if you saw it earlier. Right? I'm not looking to take no trades on AU right now because price is still making higher highs and higher lows when overall we're in a downtrend. Right? Euro USD is an overall uptrend, but we're sitting at a higher high. So I can't continue to look for buy positions when price is at a higher high. Right? The same way that you shouldn't be looking for a buy position when price is sitting at the top of the zone of consolidation without giving you a valid break of structure. Or vice versa. The same way that you shouldn't be looking for a sell position at the bottom of the zone of consolidation. But doesn't the daily too much for me to trade an entry in a 1-minute structure? It feels too trivial. No, because on the daily time frame, you're not looking to take a trade on the daily time frame. On the daily time frame, what you're looking at really is where price is at in the overall trend. Right? That'll allow you to not get trapped into your trades. Right? Because as a scalper, all you're looking at, right? If as a scalper, all you're looking at is the 1-minute time frame. Let's say the 5-minute time frame. Right? And as a scalper, what are you thinking is going to happen here? Well, again, if you're looking at market structure correctly, you have higher high, higher low, higher high. So as a scalper, what would you think is going to happen next? It's very simple, right? This is a lot of people who scalp. This is their chart. Oh, we have a consolidation. We have a break. We're looking for the retest. How many scalpers do you think got stuck in this trade here and then went straight to stop loss? I'll ask you this question here. And we'll give you a minute. How many scalpers do you think were stuck in this position thinking that price was just going to continue higher high, higher low, higher high? Right? After you had a little 1-minute zone of consolidation, inducement of the low, break of the zone of consolidation, retest, how many people you think were stuck in this trade? And we don't have to go so far to even guess. My FX book. We don't have to go so far to guess what it is that's going on. Like, you know, we have those tools. Let's see. Let me see if I can find it. I can't go back anymore until a couple hours ago. No, I can't. Okay, that's all good. This is live chart right now. Euro USD. Right. I wish I could go back to a little bit, a few hours ago. This is how many people are shorting and longing Euro USD. A lot of people are confused trading Euro USD right now. Right? You said a lot. Exactly. Right? But understanding why this wasn't an area to take a buy position. Why? Because on the 30-minute, we're sitting at a higher high. I'm sorry, we're sitting at the high on the 30-minute, which is the red box. Right? The trend, what is it doing? Lower low, lower high, lower low. Technically speaking, this is still a lower high until we don't get that break. And this is the reason why in yesterday's session, even though we have 2 days of rise, even though we know that we could potentially be getting a 372, that third day push to the top side, is still a low probability area. Why? Because price is still giving us lower lows and lower highs. Right? So what could price do today? Looking at structure. This is why I use every single time frame, because every single time frame is telling you something. That's what a lot of traders don't teach that. And it's because they don't have that information. But realistically speaking, every time frame is giving you a different piece of the puzzle that you need to be able to trade. Right? Gotta remember, what is the language of the charts? It's candlesticks. If you don't understand candlestick analysis, I'm not saying that you're not going to be profitable. There's a whole bunch of profitable traders who don't understand candlestick analysis. But start comparing their win rates. What is really their win rate? Are they really winning trades, or are they only profitable because they have an affiliate code and they have a $100,000 account? And for a lot of us, especially me, I was once in that position. I didn't have $100,000. I didn't have affiliate codes. I didn't make money from selling courses. Do this for free. It's number one. So my whole thing was, well, of course this guy could have a 20%, 30%, 40%, 50% win rate because he has a $100,000 account. He has a $200,000 account, $1 million account, whatever the case is. So in this case, we know we're getting one of the type 1, type 2, or type 3 patterns, right? And again, what is that? A type 1 pattern is when price consolidates, breaks, gives you a double top, and starts push 1, push 2, push 3. A type 2 pattern is when price consolidates, breaks, retest to go back down. And a type 3 pattern is when price consolidates, it breaks, it comes back 50% of the zone of consolidation, and then goes down. Right? So right now, what could we expect price to do for EU? At this point, it looks like either a type 2 pattern, right, to give us the break, the retest to continue, or it looks like a type 1 pattern where price is going to give us the inducement to make people believe that price is going to go high to then continue to go short. And I do believe that that's what's going to happen on EU. Very similar to what I think is going to happen with GU. That price is just going to continue to go down. Now I would love for GU and EU to go up. That will tell us that price is going to continue that trend to the top side. But right now is not looking like that's what price wants to do. Just looking at the candlesticks, how price is reacting, how price is moving, doesn't look like it's going to happen. But we will see. So which ones are the best pairs to keep an eye on, right? NZD, USD at this point, again, if we don't mark this up as lower low, lower high, lower low, and we say that this is where the change of character happened and this is the break of structure and this is just a pullback, then you know we could get away with looking at this pair. But I'm not liking, again, just the fact that price gave us this other lower low here instead of just giving us a lower low, lower high. I wanted to give us this little inducement. So, and at this point we would have the change of character, higher high, higher low, and we'd be looking for a break of structure here to continue that push to the top side. And it seems like price wants to do that. We have another minute for this candle to close. We'll be patient. NZD USD looks like one of the best pairs to keep an eye on. Again, gold at this point, not going to be trading it. We'll keep an eye on it, but I'm not going to be trading it. USD ZAR and CAD. Would love to see price go up, but it's not looking that way. US 30 again, we were looking for a valid break of the lows, and it seems like price does not want to give us that either. We'll be patient. We still got a lot of time. Yeah, we have no news for the rest of the day. We have medium impact, like I said, at 8:30, so we will be patient till then. Again, I'm not going to trade 15 minutes before or 15 minutes after news, so pretty much once 8 a.m. hits in 10 minutes, we'll be hands off until after the news. We'll be back on the chart, or we'll be back looking for entries at 8:45 going into 9 a.m. and then 9:30 is the NY open. So let's see what happens here. Right, price did not give us a valid break. Still testing the highs, so at least that's looking good. NZD could be a really good pair to keep an eye on to continue to look for these trades. And again, if we could catch a trade today that we know we're looking for price for this week to go back down into these lows down here, so this wouldn't be a bad position at all for NZD USD. But yeah, Muhammad, I hope that all made sense, my brother. Everything, again, every pair that we trade is traded the exact same way. Only difference is that some pairs are overall uptrending, some other pairs are in an overall downtrend. That's the only difference. But again, as you saw, right, oil, the trade that we took yesterday, and you know, we could go back since I think you're new here, right? I haven't seen you in here. You know, we could go back to every single pair that we have. My trading journals on our Discord again, which is completely free to join. You know, every entry is the exact same, right? 3 days of rise. After 3 days of rise, the market must move sideways or go down. We're at the top of the zone of consolidation. Right at the top of the zone of consolidation, price gave us the exhaustion candles to go right back down, and we had a 5-minute engulfing candle, right, to go back down to the bottom. Right, what's another trade? US 30. Took a few US 30 trades this month. Same exact thing as gold, right? We had 2 days of rise. On the third day, price gave us a top. We're at the top of the zone of consolidation, which was a retest also of that 1-hour engulfing candle that we had here, which was the entry to go back down to the bottom. Price gave us a change of character, gave us a break of structure, straight to profit. Right, the same exact thing as copy and paste, same thing here. 3 days of rise, 1, 2, 3. After 3 days of rise, the market must move sideways or go down. And what did the market give us here? Its own consolidation, gave us a type 1 pattern. Consolidation, break, double top, push 1, pull back. On the pullback, it gave us a 30-minute engulfing candle. Right, if we zoom into it, right, 30-minute engulfing candle, the retest, right on it, straight to profit. Zero drawdown, straight to profit. Right, so again, it's rinse and repeat with every single pair. Every single pair is just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. There's nothing different. Again, every single pair is traded the exact same way. Have I taken a Bitcoin trade this year? I think I have. I think I took one trade on Bitcoin this year. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, I think it was this one. Right? Same thing, pretty much the same trade that worked out on US oil. The only thing is that oil gave us the trade yesterday instead of giving us the trade today. But 2 days of rise, or I'm sorry, 2 days of drop. After 2 days of drop, the market must give us that third day push. That's exactly what happened here. Why did I enter here? Level 3. We're looking for price to bounce off the 50 EMA. Or right on the 50 EMA. How many times did price bounce off of it and reject the 50? Every single time. 1, 2, 3 times. Straight to profit. 372 back down to the low. Which is again the same exact trade that worked out for US oil for today. 2 days of drop. After 2 days of drop, we know that on the third day, which is today, price is going to give us that push to the bottom. That third day push to the bottom. It gave us a 15-minute engulfing candle at 3 p.m. last night or yesterday. Right? Gave us an engulfing candle, gave us a retest, straight to profit. As soon as the market opened, that shit went straight to profit. So again, everything is traded the exact same way. It doesn't matter what you're trading. It doesn't matter if you're trading even company stocks, right? If we want to go into my options list, right, that's same thing. Everything is traded the exact same way. You didn't mention the 1 hour. Now I don't. When I'm looking at my markups, I don't mark up on the 1 hour. I still use the 1 hour. Like for example, if we have an engulfing candle on the 1 hour time frame, I'll look at the 1 hour. But for the most part, the 1 hour time frame is the exact same thing as a 30-minute time frame, right? It's just one extra candle that you're looking at. But structurally speaking, the 1 hour time frame and the 30-minute time frame is the same thing. Um, Again, with a lot of back testing involved, I've noticed and we've noticed that the 30-minute time frame is the time frame that you want to use to mark up your day-to-day analysis. The 30-minute time frame is the one that's going to tell you it holds the most weight with every single pair. The 1 hour is not that good when it comes to looking at market structure. When you're looking for those valid entries, the 1 hour is not the best place to look at. The best chart, again, the best time frames to look at when you're doing your markups is the 30-minute, the 4 hour, and the daily. That's it. You could use the 1 hour for confluence, right? Again, if you're looking for, like an example, an engulfing candle, you could use the 1 hour. You could go to the 1 hour and use it as confluence. Same thing with the 15-minute, right? In the 15-minute time frame, if there's a 15-minute engulfing. But when it comes to market structure, higher highs and higher lows on a day-to-day basis, the 30-minute time frame is where you want to be. Let's do a little deep dive here. So again, EU, we gotta wait it out. NZD USD, we'll keep it on NZD USD. That's like one of the best looking pairs right now. US 30, we're looking for that break of the low. USD CAD, we're waiting to see if price wants to give us an inducement of the low to continue that push to the top side. Same thing with USDs are. And then gold, gotta wait it out. I mean, again, at this point with gold, on the 5-minute, we have a nice change in BOS. But again, the correlation of the pairs is what's throwing me off, right? We know that gold and US 30 usually move opposite of each other, right? Which would make sense, right? If we see how price is moving, it's exactly what's going on. But how price is moving right now, right? 30 is moving down and gold is doing the same thing. So we'll just wait it out. We'll wait for that news. I'm in no rush to take a trade. We're chilling. We'll wait it out with news. I'll keep NZD USD on my screen. And then we'll go on from there. No problem, my brother. Can you check NQ? It looks like it's the third day of rise today. What do you think? NQ is at peak high territory. Very similar to US 30. I don't even have to go to that chart. Right? Same thing with S&P. Right? NQ, we're sitting at a higher high. Right? Same as S&P. Right? We could even go to NAS. Right? Wait, do I have that chart here? Right? We're sitting at a higher high. I don't take trades at a higher high. Again, for the same example that I gave earlier, right? Where do we think price is gonna go after a higher high? We think it's gonna continue to make higher high, higher high, higher high. But no, NQ doesn't have a third day of rise, right? We had a day of drop yesterday, or I'm sorry, we had a day of drop on Friday where price went down. Then yesterday we had price go up. We have 1 day of rise. And we have a steep pullback. But again, when I'm trading NAS, when I'm trading S&P, I don't want to take a trade at a higher high. It's just not the best spot to take a trade. Right? Comparing it to structure with US 30, where are we? Right? We're in highs that price has rejected before how many times? We've rejected these highs once, 2 times. Could this be the 3rd time that price rejects these highs? Absolutely. And if you notice it again, just look at the behavior of the market. Once we reach these highs, what is price doing? Moving sideways, trapping traders. So, gotta be careful taking trades at these highs. Let me know if that made sense, Mohammed. If not, I'll explain it. I could explain it again. But you see, that's why trading in a higher time frame, or not trading in a higher time frame, but having that higher time frame analysis is very important. Because already understanding that we're trading at a higher high, we're at the highest point in the market, right? Price gave us a higher high. So again, the daily time, everything is color coordinated too, right? So if you didn't notice, right? The daily highs and lows are the gray boxes, the 4-hour highs and lows are the blue boxes, and then the 30-minute time frame is red, right? But more than daily time frame is unnecessary. Yeah, I mean, I think overall trading anything above the daily time frame is unnecessary because there's just not enough information, right? Like the weekly time frame is telling you kind of the same thing. The monthly time frame is telling you the same thing, right? Higher high, higher low, higher high, right? Weekly time frame, same thing, right? Do I have my drawings? Okay, here you go. What are we weekly, right? If you notice it, again, you're looking for the same thing on every time frame connects, right? On the monthly time frame, it's a bigger view of what's happening on the weekly. What's happening on the weekly is a bigger view of what's happening inside the daily, right? Higher high, higher low, higher high. What's going on the weekly is the same thing that's going on the daily time. It's just internal time frames of the internal time frames of the internal time frames, right? So it's all telling us the same thing, but I don't use the monthly, I don't use the weekly. It's just unnecessary to go above it. There's no point in going above the daily time frame, right? So on the daily time frame, what's going on? Price gave us higher high, right? Higher low. Let's change this to gray, right? It gave us higher high, higher low, right? Higher high. Price came down and gave us an inducement of the low. Never gave us a valid break. This was inducements of the lows, right? But let's say inducement of the low, lower low. And then what happened? Price gave us another break and gave us a higher high. So we know that on the daily time frame, we're trading between this low down here and this high over here. Again, when you're looking at market structure, are you expecting price to make higher high, higher high, higher high, higher high, higher high? Or are you expecting price to make higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low? Right? We're expecting a higher low, right? Price decides to give us a higher low and give us an entry here, then we know, right? And this is where now if you're a swing trader, you'd be looking to take a trade somewhere in the higher low to continue back up into the higher high. You have to wait for those entry confirmations. And again, as a scalper, this is the area, now that you know you're trading at a higher high, right? As a scalper, anywhere in these areas should be, and let's mark it up correctly. Let's mark it up with a box so everything could connect, right? So we know that on the daily time frame, we're trading at this point. We still don't have a set high just yet, but we'll mark it up here just in case, right? Just so it could all make sense, right? We know that on the daily time frame, let's delete some of these drawings here so we have enough space. Right, this is the area now as a scalper. This is where I'd want to start looking for price to shift and start giving us a downtrend push. And right now we don't have that. When I'm looking at market structure on the 1-minute time frame, we're still trading between this low and this high. Why? Because price never broke these highs and price has not broken these lows. Price just continued, right? Higher high, higher low, higher high. So could any of these areas, could this be a higher low here to continue back into the higher high? Absolutely. It looks like that's what it looks like price wants to do, right? So again, just got to be a little patient. And once again, we're in an area where the market is trapping a lot of traders, especially since we know we have news coming up in the next couple minutes. So once again, I'm just going to be sitting on my hands until after the news. Once the news hits, that'll at least give us a little bit more volume in the market. If it doesn't, usually at 8:30 we usually don't get a lot of volume. We'll just have to wait for the NY open. The highs and lows based on market structure. based on what the higher highs and higher lows were. So for example, daily time frame on US 30, right? You can see I already have this marked up, right? You had higher high. What color is this? Nope, wrong tool. Okay. What do we know about US 30? We had higher high, higher low, higher high. Price never broke these highs, right? What did price do? It went down and broke these lows here. So then price gave us lower low, lower high, lower low, right? Let me know if you're with me so far. Let me know if all of this makes sense, right? After price gave us this lower low here, what did price do? It went up and gave us the break of structure higher high. I'm with you? Okay, perfect. So the reason this is my daily high over here and this is my daily low is just based on market structure, right? We had lower low, lower high, lower low. Then price gave us a higher high. So I know that on the daily time frame, we're still trading between this low and this high. And after this high was set, what did price do? Just started consolidating. So this is where a lot of traders, right? If you've ever heard about the flag post patterns, right? This is what a lot of people would be looking for as a flag post pattern. A lot of people are in these positions going long. Now, whether they're right or wrong at this moment, we can't really say. But what we do know is that in these areas beforehand, just looking at our left-hand side, once again, how many times has price rejected these highs? Right? Once, 2 times, this could be the 3rd time. So we already know ahead of time, this is a very low probability area to take a trade in, because in this area, price had already rejected these highs twice beforehand. Let me know if that makes sense. So that's the reason why. And again, on the 4-hour time frame is the same thing, right? You're just looking at market structure. The 4-hour highs are market structure, the higher high, the 30-minute time frame, same thing. Right? And as you can see on the 30-minute, the 30-minute gave us lower low, lower high, lower low, and then yesterday price, or on Friday, sorry, price went up and gave us a change of character, higher high. So we know that we're trading between this 30-minute high and these 30-minute lows down here. I just have a hard time picking which highs and lows. Yeah, I get that. That's a lot of, again, it's the bad thing with this niche in trading in general is you go on YouTube and a lot of people are teaching you. Again, you got to realize the stats are real, right? And I will say this because I have no, I don't care about hurting people's feelings. 90% of traders fail. That's a real statistic. If you go to any prop firm and they will give you the stats, right? I have a few stats saved on my computer. 90% of traders do fail. 90% of people who buy prop firm accounts don't even make it past phase 1. But then you go on social media, whether that's Instagram, whether that's Twitter, whether that's YouTube, and everybody's a successful trader. Right? With that being said, you have to be careful who you're learning from, because they're not always they don't have your best interest in mind. Again, a lot of these people who are making social media posts and are charging you hundreds and thousands of dollars for a mentorship, you think they make their money off of the mentorship that they're charging thousands of dollars from and they have hundreds of students? Or do you think they're making money from trading when their trading stats are live and they're literally showing you that they have a 30% win rate? And the only reason that they still have money in their account is because people continue to buy their accounts with their affiliate codes, and people continue to use their affiliate link when they open up a broker account. Right? With that being said, now that I've been teaching for 3 years and having students who are brand new from trading and also having students who already had a past, the number one thing that a lot of people get confused about is market structure. And that's all it is. Like, you shouldn't be confused with what your highs and lows are. because it's following market structure. And again, everybody could draw market structure correctly. Again, everybody when you go on Instagram and YouTube, everybody's drawing this, right? Everybody's drawing higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, right? What does this mean when you're looking at a candlestick? Because a lot of people, when they're trading, they would think, oh, the 30-minute time frame, look, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, lower low, lower high, lower low. But that's not correct. You're trading internal time frame. As you can see, this is 5-minute structure. But 30-minute structure, you have to go back. Let's take a step back here so it can make more sense. Right, you can see I have everything labeled, right? On the 30-minute time frame, what were you trading? And let's put this in red since 30-minute, right? We had higher high, higher low, higher high. A lot of people here will tell you, oh, this is higher low, higher high, lower low, lower high, lower low, higher high, higher low, higher high, lower low, lower high, lower low, higher high, lower low. How many times have you seen people do that? But this is not the correct way to market, right? After this higher high, higher low, higher high, all of this here is internal time frame until price gives you a break of the low here, which then gave you a lower low. Then what did price do? It came up. Price never broke these lows. Price never broke these highs, right? Then what did price do? It came up. Gave you a lower high. Then it went down. Broke these lows. Gave you a lower low. So we had the change of character. We had the break of structure. Lower low. Lower high. Then price came back down. Lower low. Then what did price do? It gave you the change of character. Back to the top side. Higher high. So what do we know? That right now we're trading between this 30-minute low and this 30-minute high. Everything between this high and this low is internal structure. Internal time frame structure, which is again the 5-minute structure. This is where on the 5-minute we had the change of character, break of structure, right? Lower low, lower high, lower low, and you can see here, right? We had higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. At the end of the day yesterday, price came down and gave us a change of character, lower low, lower high, and now in order for us to continue to look for these shorts on US 30, I need to see a valid break of these lows down here, which we still haven't gotten. But then the first low you just mark, other lows already made it if you zoom out more, and it's a never-ending cycle. That's what confused me on when to start exactly. Hold on, let me go back. The first low you just marked, which low exactly? Let's start from the beginning again. Right, and we'll zoom in and we'll do this again so you can see it with the lines. Right, so let's start from here. Right, higher high, higher low. Did price ever break these lows? No. Did price break these highs? Yes, here. And what did price do? It went up, 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 up until here. Higher high, higher low. Right? I'm going to zoom in here so you can see a little bit more better. Then you have higher high. Then you have higher low. Where did price give you the break of structure? Here. None of these candles were a break. All of these candles here were a testing candle. Let's draw this out with a regular trend line tool so it can make more sense. Right? From here to here, where did you get the valid break? Right? Just because this green candle went to the top side does not mean it's a break. This is a testing candle. This is not a valid break. Same thing here. This is a testing candle. 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 We didn't get the valid break until this green candle over here. Why? What is a valid break of structure? And this is something else that not a lot of people understand. Not a lot of people know this, and that's okay, right? A valid break. What does it look like? We'll draw it out, and I have a drawing for that actually too. That I have a PDF with that drawn out, right? A valid break. Let's say you're looking for price to break the lows. Just because one candle broke below the area does not mean it's a break. This is still a testing candle. A break of structure is when another candle closes below the testing candle's wick, and you have to make sure that the candle is not touching the break of structure line. If the wick is touching the break of structure line, this is still considered a testing candle. right? But because it's not touching the line, that's what the breakup structure is, which is what we see here, right? Testing candles, testing, testing, testing until what? Until this green candle printed. And it closed above the green candle's wick. Perfect, right? So we know that we're trading now higher high, higher low, right, to where? Back up into a higher high, right? Then what did price do? Higher low, right? Gave us the break. Higher high, right? Let me know if so far you're with me. Right? Now that we know we're trading higher high, higher low, higher high, did price ever break these highs? No. Did price ever break these lows? Yes. So we know that we're now trading from this higher high, price came down and gave you a lower low change of character. Right? So now we know that on the 30-minute, we're trading between this high and these lows down here. Did price ever break these highs? No. It came up, gave you a lower high, and then price did what? It went down, gave you a lower low down here. Then price came up, gave you a lower high, and then it went down and gave you a lower low. This is what Mr. Albert was talking about with the long candles and the wicks and the imbalance candles, right? We're not marking this as lower low, lower high, lower low, higher high, higher low. No, all of this here is part of the same move. So we know that we're trading lower low, again, lower high, lower low, and then price came up and gave us the higher high. Right? Has price broken these highs? No. This is where we're currently sitting at. Did price ever break these lows? No. So right now on the 30-minute time frame, we know that we're trading between this higher high and this higher low. So you update the higher low when a breakup structure is made. Exactly. You either update the high or you update the low once a break has happened. If a break hasn't happened, everything else that happens between the 30-minute high and the 30-minute low is just internal time frame structure. Same thing on the daily, right? On the daily time frame, you have your highs and lows. Everything between your daily low and your daily high is internal time frame, is 4-hour structure, right? You do the same thing on the 4-hour, right? On the 4-hour time frame, everything between, right, on the 4-hour trading lower low, lower high, lower low, and then price gave us the higher high to where we're at now. Everything below the 4-hour high and the 4-hour low, everything between it is lower time frame structure, which is 30-minute structure. So you're looking for the structure within the structure within the structure. That's why I go from the daily to the 4-hour to the 30-minute, right? Now, everything between the 30-minute high and the 30-minute low is again internal structure, which is 5-minute structure. And then same thing. Sometimes if you want to go lower, I usually don't go lower than the 5-minute. I'll use the 1 minute sometimes depending on the pair, but everything in between the 30-minute high and 30-minute low is internal structure, which is the 5-minute, which is why you see from the 30-minute high to the 30-minute low, I'm looking at the 5-minute structure, right? Let me know if that makes sense. Exactly what we talked about. Type 1 pattern, price consolidates, breaks, gives you like a little double top, Here was good, Muhammad. Great rising, my brother. Great rising. We have two Muhammads in here now. We have the OG Muhammad and we have the new Muhammad. Thank you guys for being in here. Right, price gave us a nice little engulfing candle here on Euro USD as well. Again, I'm not looking to take this position. I don't trade going counter trend, but this is a good area to keep an eye on. Right, this will give us a confluence as to what's going to happen with these other pairs. Right, we know GU does the same shit as EU. We know the USD pairs are going to do the same thing as US 30. So again, 5-minute time frame on US 30, I'm looking for that valid break. If I don't get that valid break, no entry. Still got to wait for that valid break to happen. So we'll keep an eye on these pairs. The one pair that I'm keeping a very close eye on is going to be NZD USD. Right now, that's the best looking pair to give us that third week low. Right, so going to keep an eye on NZD USD for a little bit here. And then we'll go on from there. What are you looking at, Ganataraman? Yeah, right now, not really anything. You know, the only pair, like what we talked about last night in last night's session, the only pair that looked crystal clear was US oil, but it ended up giving us the entry for today. It gave us the entry yesterday before the market closed. So, just kind of unfortunate. And then as you can see, as soon as the market opened, it just fucking went straight to profit. But as of right now, I mean, again, a lot of these pairs don't look bad. They're just in areas where we're going to be trapped. Right? So, again, NZD, we know we're looking for that third week low. But the fact that price gave us a higher high and price is kind of failing to break these lows is the only thing that's a little intimidating, right? Is when you're looking at structure, it's like, okay, well, we already rejected these lows, and then price started going back up. So just got to be patient. But realistically speaking, there's nothing, there's not a lot to look at here. US 30, same kind of scenario. We had a 4-hour engulfing, but price didn't give us the retest. So we're just going to wait for that break of structure to happen on US 30. USD CAD and USD ZAR, we're pretty much looking for the inducements to be set, which we're still in the inducement phase, where price is just trapping traders who are still trading going low, right? All the traders who think that this is lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, they're currently being induced into these trades to go short. So just gotta wait it out. Same thing as USD ZAR, right? This one is giving us 30-minute lower low, lower high, lower low, but again, waiting for those inducements to be set. And then and that's pretty much it. And then gold, pretty much similar situation. Gold, we're already sitting at a higher high. We're at the highest point in the market. Stuck in a zone of consolidation as well, but we could see that it's still respecting the trend, right? It's still giving us that push. So again, faked everybody out on the internal time frame, thinking that price was going to continue this downtrend push, right, after giving us the change of character break retest. But you can see that price went straight back to the top side, which is okay. Again, we know that overall we're still in an uptrend for gold, so this is why this one didn't work out. 2 days of rise as well, so just got to be patient with it. I'll wait for the opportunities. And again, this is good, right? Gold and US 30 usually move opposite. If gold is pushing up, it's telling me that CAD and ZAR want to push up, which is telling me that US 30 wants to push down, which is telling me that Euro USD wants to push down, which tells me that GU wants to push down. So everything it's doing exactly what it needs to do. But yeah, outside of that, there's really nothing else. Again, like EU is moving counter trend, GU is moving counter trend. The only one that's not moving counter trend is NZD USD, but you can see that right now is just still trapping traders going long. So just gotta be patient, man. There's nothing else we could really do about it. Just gotta wait it out, see what price wants to do. Gotcha, man. I appreciate it a lot. Of course, Mohammed, no problem, my brother. Waiting on CAD too. Yeah, right now those look NZD USD and I would say USD CAD USD ZAR are the ones to keep an eye on. But we'll wait it out. We'll see what happens. We have news coming out in 7 minutes. So again, I'm hands off now until 8:45. I don't trade 15 minutes before news. I'm not trading 15 minutes after news, or I'm not trading until 15 minutes after news. So 8:45 we'll be back here looking for these entries, but for right now I'm just gonna be hands off. We'll look at price, we'll see what price wants to do, and then we'll go on from there. Any questions so far, guys? Anything you guys want me to talk about? Anything you want me to explain again, let me know. If not, we'll just be sitting on this chart for the next 15 minutes. And then we'll go back and look at the other pairs at 8:45, 9 a.m. I'm gonna have to give you guys different names so you guys don't get confused. But the new Muhammad, if you have any questions, let me know. But yeah, man, the best videos to watch. All the videos are good to watch because every video we break down what we're looking at. So I would definitely recommend to start with the weekly market breakdown, the live sessions with the weekly market breakdown, which is again, that's the session that we go through every single pair from the daily to the 4-hour to the 30-minute. You could watch the most recent ones too. Those are pretty good. Have a lot of examples on there. And the market breakdown, the isolation sessions, the session that we do every night at 7 p.m. Monday through Thursday. Those are also really good sessions to watch. Gonna be a bit confusing. It's definitely gonna be confusing. There's no doubt about it. No, especially if you know, I always said it. Best the best type of people to teach are people who have never traded before. Because again, it's very difficult to get rid of bad habits than it is to create new habits. Right? If you already trained your eyes to see something, whether it's right or wrong, right? It's just like any sport. Right? I always give this analogy, right? If I always give the analogy of baseball because I played baseball, and that's like the best analogy I could use since I never played football or soccer if you're in the States. I can't really give analogies on football because I never played it personally. And I don't like it either. A lot of people are going to hate me for that, but that's such a fucking boring sport. I don't know how anybody could watch 90 minutes of grown men, just like basketball, of grown men just throwing themselves on the floor. Like, dude, get up. You're a little girl, bro. Like, get up from the floor. I hate watching basketball because of that. I hate watching soccer or football because of that. It's such a boring sport. 90 minutes of guys just flopping. I fucking cannot stand that. Anyway, the analogy with baseball, right? If when you're young, if somebody doesn't teach you how to hold a baseball bat, and you have the bad habit of your hands aren't in the right position, once you learn that from age 4 to 14, that's 10 years of you doing something incorrect. And even though it's incorrect, it might feel comfortable to you. But why is your batting average bad? Why can't you hit the ball? It's because of how you're standing, how you're holding the bat, how you're swinging the bat. So once you get to the age of 14 and 15 and finally somebody tells you, hey, you're holding the bat incorrectly, you're going to feel awkward. You're going to feel bad. You're going to feel like this is not the right way to hold the bat. It doesn't feel comfortable, right? It's a lot harder to get rid of bad habits than it is to learn something completely new, right? It's the same thing in trading. So you've already trained your eyes. Somebody has already told you, no, this is how market structure goes. And then you watch our live session and you see that it's completely different. You're going to be like, well, holy shit, this is completely brand new. Right? And we see that from time to time, right? We see that almost every session, even with the students who are in our group already. The people who already developed the bad habits, those are the people who suffer the most. Because it's going to be difficult to look at the new way of doing it, which is not the new way, it's the correct way to do it. So it is going to be confusing. It's definitely, there's no doubt about it. We already have the proof of that being difficult. But again, it's just getting rid of the bad habits and doing it correctly. But again, it's just like everything else, man. Everybody wants to trade, start learning how to trade today and be a millionaire tomorrow. And there's no skill in this world that's gonna make you a millionaire in a week. But again, everybody on social media, the marketing gurus, the people who love how to do marketing, who know how to do marketing, the people who don't really know how to trade, they're going to tell you, no, don't trade a demo account, trade prop firms and trade live accounts. Of course they're telling you to trade prop firms. Of course they're telling you to trade a broker account. Because right after, they're going to link you their affiliate code to go buy a prop firm. And they know that you're going to fail. They're making money off of you. Of course they want you to open a live account instead of a demo with their link. Because they don't make money if you're trading demo. But if you deposit $50, they're making 10%. And on top of that, they're making your commission. So of course they're not going to tell you to do a demo account. Of course they're going to tell you to go open up a prop firm account or open up a live account so they could continue to make money off of your failure. That's what a lot of people don't understand about this trading space. Like, again, 99% of the information that you see online is not real. Is not real. And again, it sucks to see because pretty sure everybody's story is very similar. I didn't get into trading because I wanted to get into trading. I got into trading to get my life out of the regular 9 to 5, to gain financial freedom, to gain freedom, liberty to do whatever the fuck I want to do every single day. And that's the same story with everybody. So it sucks. It sucks seeing the community how it is. There's just a lot of scammers. And it sucks. Because a lot of us who are learning how to trade, we don't have money to throw $200, $500, $1,000 to learn a course. That's why I fuck with Linz, right? Because she does this shit for free. And she's teaching something that's actually useful. Not a lot of people do that. You go look at any other trader, yo. I'm not gonna name drop anybody that because I don't dislike these people. I just don't fuck with their vibe. How they teach, how they trade, it doesn't make sense. Right? Like, yeah, I'm not gonna name drop, but it is what it is. There's so many people we could call out right now on stream. There's so many people we could call out on stream right now who are just scamming people day in and day out. And people don't realize it because all they see is, oh, well, this guy has to be real because he has a $300,000 live account. Yeah. Even though they showed you in real time that they just scammed people out of fucking $300,000 and lost all of it in less than 24 hours. They showed you what type of person they are, but you're still learning from them? Really? Doesn't make sense. But it's okay, man, you know. I wish I could trade gold and take profit as soon as the market moves with a $50 lot size. Of course, I'll be a millionaire by tomorrow if that was the case. I'll be a multi-millionaire if that was the case, if I was trading gold like that. We're in profit. Take profit. Hurry up. We're up 10 pips on gold. Congratulations, guys. We won. Yeah. You probably won because you're trading a $50 lot size. But everybody else who's watching you is trading a penny lot size on gold, 10 pips, that's $1. They can't eat off of $1. You fucking clowns. So, again, it's a different... it sucks. Again, I hate seeing the trading space how it is now, man. It's always been like this, but obviously now that it's grown to what it is, it sucks. It really does suck. But it is what it is. Alright, so the 8:30 news hit. Nothing really happened, no volume, right? As we expected, usually those 8:30 news don't really do nothing on the charts. But everything is still moving how it's supposed to, right? EU again is still pushing down. US 30, we're still there as well. USD CAD and USD ZAR, let's take a look at it. Right, gave us the inducement of the low, perfect. This is where I'll start looking for my engulfing candles. I'll start looking at internal time frame, change of character, break of structures. Right, boom, 15 minute, we have an engulfing candle, perfect. Right, start piecing this all together now. Alright, 15 minute engulfing. Let's go to the 5 minute. We have lower low, lower high, lower low. Then price gave us a change of character, higher high. Then price gave us a lower low, lower high, lower low. And this is where I want to start looking for those change of characters again over here. Alright, which we got the change of character here. 5 minute change. We could also go to the 1 minute, see the same thing. Right, so we're trading between the 5 minute and the 1 minute time frame here on the internal structure. Keep this here. We'll go to the next chart. USD ZAR. Similar to CAD, but we're still pushing down a little bit, so we want to be careful with this. Right? 23 minutes, if this gives us a valid break. Right? An STP for USD ZAR has already been hit. I'm pretty sure it's almost hit 129. What is it? 183. 183 pips minus 33% is 122. What do we do today? 129. Yeah, so we're already done with USD ZAR. ZAR is done for the day. And then CAD is still on the top side. Alright. Is there anything else that I need to look at? No. 30, we're still looking for that valid break. NZD USD. Want to see price kind of just sit here, man. I don't want to see price continue that push. The Euro USD is still there. Okay. We'll keep an eye on NZD USD here. But again, at this point, I'm not really expecting price to continue lower, to be honest. We'll see. You have a gap? No. Pretty boring day on the chart, man. But a lot of good information at least. Now keep an eye on USD CAD and NZD USD. We could go faster. Tell me the password. Coming up on you quickly. I bring nice things. Any questions, guys, about the chart so far? Anything you guys want me to talk about? Anything you want me to explain? Let me know. If not, again, I'm pretty much hands off for a little bit. Oh, man. That was a good stretch. Booty butt cheeks. Hands off till 8:30. Yep. Pretty much gonna. 8:30 news just hit. We didn't get really a lot of volume, so gonna be just gonna be waiting it out. We got till 9:30. 9:30 we'll see a little bit more volume come in. If we don't see nothing clean 9:30, 9:45, then we'll be done for the day and we'll be back tonight for the isolation session. So just gonna take it easy for a little bit here. And then we'll go on from there. I could put you in the East St. Laurent right around town with your hair done up. We'll keep an eye on US 30 since that's the one that I really want to see. And then USD CAD. He's wild on facts. The craziest shit is that Kendall be telling me I'm a freaky frog. Like, yeah, you should see our text messages. This guy's a freakier frog than the freakiest frog, man. Nah, Kendall be around every day. He just He's locked in, man. He's locked in. Mr. Bashir, good morning, my brother. Good morning. Anything on the watch list? Right now, not really, man. I'm keeping an eye on US 30 and USD CAD pretty much, but that's pretty much it for the day. There's really nothing else. Um, and even these trades are kind of still not that good. So just gonna be patient. I'm waiting for a 5 minute break on US 30, a valid 5 minute break. So I'm looking for that candle closure below here. To then potentially get a retest and continue. But at this point, I don't even think we'll be able to trade US 30. And then for USD CAD, we have a 15 minute engulfing after a 30 minute inducement of the lows. But again, right now, it's all of these positions right now are low probability. I'm not liking market structure, how we're moving, how price is moving is just not the best right now. So just gonna be patient with this, see if we could get anything. If not, then be back again. No need to rush into any trades that we don't need to take. But for right now, again, just keeping an eye on USD CAD and US 30. Market is testing our patience, but we can wait. Definitely can wait, man. No doubt about that. I'm in no rush to get trapped into any trades, man. You know how it goes. There's a 5 minute gap on US 30. Yeah, right here. Yeah, I think this one was filled already, but yeah, we have this one right here. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely wait till 9:30 before I decide to take a trade or not. Any questions, guys? Let me know. Kindly explain market direction, higher time frame. I can understand the structure, where to look for an entry, but I am missing the overall direction of the market sometimes. Um, yeah, we'll do it on a pretty simple chart here. We'll do it on AU, right? You say you see market structure. So what exactly is it that you don't see, right? Because again, right, the overall move, right? For example, on AU, the overall trend, the overall direction in the higher time frame, which is the daily, right? We're in a downtrend, right? Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, right? From this high to this low. What did price do? It went down and gave us a lower low. Right? So what are we expecting now? We're expecting price to give us a lower high somewhere in this area to then go from lower high back down to a lower low. Right? So overall direction is just downtrend. So that's it. Right? You go back down to the 30-minute, all I'm looking for is downtrend moves. And right now, what is price doing? Higher highs and higher lows on the lower time frame, because price is going from a lower low to a lower high. Again, price is making lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. Right now, we're in the lower high point. We're looking at price making higher highs and higher lows here, right? Until price gives us a set lower high. Once this set lower high is made, is when we'll start seeing price make lower lows and lower highs on the 30-minute time frame, and this is how it looks on the daily time frame. Let me know if that kind of made sense. Like, there's really no other way to explain that. Like, again, overall trends, overall market direction, where are we? We're in a downtrend. Lower lows and lower highs. We have push 1, push 2, and we're looking for push 3 to be formed. Right? So right now, what is price doing? Again, it gave us a lower low, and we're looking for a lower high to be set. A push to the top side to give us the lower high. Right? And again, how do we know that we're at a set lower high and price is going to start downtrending? Is if you see market structure on the lower time frame, once we start making lower lows and lower highs, right, the change of character, break of structure, after the break of structure is when I'll start looking to take a trade to continue the trend back down to the bottom. And as you can see, if you took this trade on AU going short, right, you got trapped because again, we're still not ready to go down yet. Price is still making higher highs and higher lows. All right, you're probably in this already still in drawdown. Right, we'll update this all tomorrow. Like, there's really no other way I could explain that, Mr. Bashir. Like, again, Euro USD, where are we? All right, we're in an overall. The overall direction is an uptrend. We have push 1, first zone consolidation, push number 2 to the top side, and right now we're sitting at a higher high. We're in level 2 in an uptrend. We're sitting at a higher high. What are we looking for? Are we looking for price to make higher high, higher high, higher high, or are we expecting price to make higher high, higher low, higher high, and then to create another higher low? Right? So right now for Euro USD, we know that we're going to be looking for price to give us a steeper pullback. And that's what we're seeing happen right now. Right? Gave you the inducement, gave you 2 days of rise. A lot of people thinking, oh, this is going to be a continuation back to the top side. Or a lot of people thinking that this is going to be a zone of consolidation, break, retest to continue the push to the top side. They just all got trapped out of this trade. Hit their stop loss, straight to stop loss. And we're still getting faked out on USD CAD. Look how many times we tapped into the zone. We have exhaustion candles in the zone too, so this is not, again, not a high probability area to take a trade at this point. So my next point of interest to take a trade is if price could give us a valid break after this change of character to go back to the top side. And then US 30 we could still see again no valid break of the lows and price is still pushing up to the top side a little bit. Let me know if that kind of explained your question. You explained it well, and that's exactly what I have in my journal. What I need now is more back testing to understand it, like the back of my hand. Absolutely, that's literally all it takes, right? And again, at the end of the day, you know, we show you the charts. So if you don't have your chart or not labeled, but like drawn out the same way that we do, right? With the daily highs, daily low, 4-hour highs and 4-hour lows, 30-minute highs, 30-minute lows, aside with the market maker's pattern, right? The 2 zones of consolidation, the 3 levels. I would recommend update your chart to look exactly like mine, right? With the daily highs, daily lows, like what we said, the 4-hour, the 30-minute, the market maker's pattern. So you know, at least you know, okay, we're in a downtrend, right? And the more you see it on your chart, the more you'll be able to see it on your own as well. You get what I mean? But yeah, that's literally all it is, bro. It's just you gotta develop the chart vision. And again, it will take a little bit of time to develop that chart vision. But you guys got it, man. Again, you guys who are in here every single day, asking questions, looking at the videos, looking at the charts, you guys will get it faster than everybody else. I promise. But again, just keep in mind, always keep in mind, like, I know it's frustrating, but again, trading is the same thing as any other skill that you will develop. It's the same thing if you were in school. If you go to school, it's going to take you anywhere between 2 to 6 years to graduate, get your degree, get a job, and get a good paying job, right? It's the same thing with trading. It's going to take you anywhere between 2 to 4 years to really understand what you need to understand. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. It's not something that's going to happen from one day to the next, from one week to the next. It's not real. So again, it will take time, but the more you practice it, the more you see it, the better you'll be at it. That goes for everybody. Um, you and CAD? Nope, I'm not in the trade. I'm waiting till 9:30. This is what I was saying earlier, low probability area. We have exhaustion candles at this zone. We've already tapped into it multiple times. Only time I'll get into CAD is if we could get that break of structure above. If we get a break and then we have another entry, then I'll take it. If not, then I'm not taking no trades. I'm waiting for the break of structure to happen. I'm not taking any trades here. I wasted many years learning some methods that didn't work in the market. Yeah, no, that's completely understandable. The craziest thing is I was just saying that earlier with not Muhammad that's in here now, but a Muhammad that was in here earlier that was his first time watching. You know, he was pretty much telling me the same thing. Like, yo, your 30-minute highs and like market structure, like it looks completely different. And it's like, yeah, like a lot of people online don't really teach you the right information. And again, it's not that these strategies don't work. 'Cause that's another misconception with a lot of traders now is everybody always talks bad about strategies. And again, it's not the strategy that doesn't work. It's the person who's teaching you about the strategy. Because again, fair value gaps work, order blocks work, trend lines work, right? If you want to use trend lines work, EMAs work, right? Turtle soup works, right? SRC, SMC, all of these strategies work in the market. The problem that everybody is having with learning these strategies is that they think it's a holy grail. Oh, price is bouncing off the 50 EMA, I'm gonna take the trade. Like, no. What's your confluence? What's market structure? Market structure is the reason why a lot of people lose trades, because a lot of people do not see market structure the correct way. And we see that from time to time. We see that every single day. Right? We see it with the new people who join our stream when they're like, yo, I don't understand how you mark up your market structure. And it's very simple. Again, like you can't say that this is, you can't be looking at US 30 and saying that this is higher high, higher low, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high on the 30-minute time frame. That's internal. And if you can't differentiate the difference between internal time frame movements and external time frame movements, you're going to have a very hard time at trading in general. It doesn't matter what strategy it is that you're learning, right? Because market structure comes first before anything else. Anything else. And again, what sucks is that 99% of traders who are teaching you how to trade do not know how to read market structure. And it makes sense. Again, statistically speaking, 90% of traders fail. But you go on social media, you go on Instagram, you go to X, you go to YouTube, and everybody's a successful trader. So then that makes you feel like, oh, I'm doing something wrong because look at these people. But realistically speaking, these people who are teaching you how to trade, who are charging you a mentorship, who's telling you to use their affiliate codes to buy prop firms and open up account with brokers, they're not making money from trading. They're making money from selling you something, from scamming. They're scamming you. They're selling you a fake course, and that's how they make their money. So I understand, like I get the frustration, and again, that's the number one reason why I always wanted to do these sessions and do it for free, so it's accessible to everybody. Because again, I understand what it is to be scammed. I know what it's like to not have any real information. It sucks. And again, 90% of the people who start trading are people who don't have money, are people who are trying to change their lives. And the fact that people are taking advantage of you guys is crazy. The fact that you could call yourself a man and you know you're scamming people. And you're not just scamming anybody, you're scamming people who don't have the money, who are trusting you, and you feel good about yourself. That's the craziest part about it. And on top of the fact, they're just making it harder for you to learn how to trade because they just infested your brain with bullshit instead of real information. And that sucks. So I get it. But you gotta just think of it in another way. Like, yeah, you've been trading for X amount of time, X amount of years, and it wasn't the right information. Cool. What you gotta do is just forget about those years and start fresh. In my mind, Mr. Bashir, you've only been trading for the amount of time that you've been in this group. And that's how you have to look at it. You have to look at it as a fresh start. Because if you start saying, oh man, I've been trying to learn for 6 years and it just hasn't stuck, you're gonna think that you're the problem. And the reality is that you're not the problem. The problem is that you've been getting the wrong information. That's like if I was telling you since you were a little kid, if your parents were to tell you that the color red is green, right? You're going to go to school thinking that the color red is green, but that's not your fault. That's your parents' fault for teaching you that the color green is red, but it's not really red, it's green, or whatever it is that I said. It's the same thing with trading. Right? You can't fault yourself for not being able to see market structure because it's not that you don't see it. You see what you were taught, but what you were taught was incorrect information. So you can't fault yourself for that. You can't be upset at yourself. Right? You just got to have a fresh mindset. Like, okay, look, this happened X amount of years ago. It is what it is. I'm starting fresh. This is brand new information. I'm learning something brand new. And that's exactly what this is. That's the only way to be able to get yourself out of that the mental state of putting yourself in a situation where you think you're the problem. But again, you're not the problem. The problem is the people who were teaching you how to trade, and they were teaching you something completely incorrect. But trust me, bro, I know it sucks. I know. Surely sometimes I question my ability to be profitable in the market, but thank you for reminding us. Yeah, of course. Again, everybody could be profitable in the market. Especially you guys in here. Because this is really not that difficult. It's really not. Once you understand it, once you get all the pieces of the puzzle together, it's super simple. But it is going to take time. That's something that I've been telling you guys since the beginning, and I will always say it. I'm not going to be that type of trader. I'm not going to be that type of person that's going to tell you guys, no, this is easy. You should get it in a week. No. It's not that simple. Right? It's the same thing again, and I always say these analogies. It's the same thing when you're a surgeon, when you're a doctor, when you're a lawyer. Right? Even if you want to go to school for anything, you're not going to do it from one day to the next. You have to put in the time. You have to study. You have to do your homework. You have to show up every single day, day in, day out. You have to ask questions. It's the only way to learn. And especially trading, it's so technical. And there's so much more into it. There's more psychology that goes into it. There's so much that goes into trading. But that's why I'm telling you, like, you have to just forget about your recent years of trading and literally put yourself in a mental state to believe that you just started trading. Right? You have like what, 8 months with us? Probably a year at this point already, Mr. Bashir. Realistically speaking, you only have, let's say, a year in trading. That's it. And you're here almost every single day. So you're already doing more than anybody else, right? Muhammad is another one. Muhammad's been with us for about over a year now, right? Kendall's been with us for almost a year now, or it's probably already been a year. Yeah, I think it's been a year already with Kendall. And Kendall, he's on it. Kendall is one person I could tell you right now that is on it all fucking day. He's here in the morning. He's in the Discord. He's asking questions. He's sending me charts. He's reviewing charts. And if you see Kendall's charts, it's the exact same as my chart every single day. But that's the way to do it. Again, when I was learning from E, I wasn't just in one session. No, like I was in every single session. I was watching every single session back, watching the recording, taking notes. Again, it took me almost 3 years. Me personally, it took me almost 3 years. And that's not even me counting when I first started getting into trading in high school. Because that would have been in 2017, 2016. You know, the funny part is my friend whom we started together, were far, far behind me, and they'll always see me like a wizard and some market god. Yeah. And right there is just literally, that's right in your face. That's a crystal clear example as to how much you've moved forward and you've learned. But it is gonna take time. It's the same thing. Like we could do the same thing with coding, right? When you're programming, when you're learning how to code, like how many people want to learn how to code and then they stop doing it because it's very difficult. And then the friend that they started with, he's over here building some crazy stuff, right? From consistency, and then they're like, "Wow, you're a wizard, man. How do you know how to code?" It's the same thing with trading. I am consistent for like 5 months now here in the stream. Yeah, exactly. It's been like, I thought it was a little bit longer, but exactly. You're here almost every single day. You're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. You show up when you need to show up. You ask questions when you have a question. You're not scared to ask questions. If you don't understand something, you ask questions again. That's literally all you have to do. And that's something, the reason it took me a little bit longer was because I was a little bit more shy when asking questions. I didn't like to ask questions. So every time I took a hit, I tried to learn it on myself until I realized that I'm hindering myself from learning from not asking questions. And E will tell you that. E will tell you I never asked questions. I was in the live sessions, but I was always on mute. I was just listening. And that's good, but sometimes you need to ask questions. It's the only way to learn, especially when you're confused about something. So, again, it's just gonna take time, man. That's all it is. It's just gonna take a little bit of time, but you will get it, bro. Everybody in here that's in the sessions who takes it serious, you guys will get it. I promise you. We can see that USD CAD is disrespecting our zones too. Again, this is why being patient is very, very crucial, guys. I was waiting for it to retest the flip zone and don't break. But as soon as I seen it break below, GG. Yep. Yep. We just gotta be patient with it, man. But I understand the 15-minute engulfing use, guys. The only engulfing I saw is a bullish one. Yep. Which is this one right here. Right? But again, you're always going to have low probability setups and high probability setups. Right? So yes, even though this is a bullish engulfing candle, and it did print as a beautiful bullish engulfing candle, right? Where are we overall? What are we doing? Price is still giving us lower lows and lower highs. Right? At one point we were uptrending, higher high, higher low, higher high, and then price came down and gave us a lower low, lower high, and before that 15-minute engulfing printed, it gave us another lower low. It wasn't a valid break, but it's still lower low. Right? So this is the reason why. Now, if price would have given us the change of character and then the break of structure on the 5-minute time frame, and then it would have printed this 15-minute engulfing, then it would have been picture perfect trade, right? That would have been considered a high probability area. But right now, this is still low probability, right? Very similar to US 30, right? US 30 gave us a change of character break, but the break of structure on the 5-minute wasn't a valid break. It was a testing candle. So now this is why we're seeing price move the way that it's moving, going back to the top side. Right? And we have a 15-minute engulfing candle printing in 12 minutes. But again, am I going to take this position? At this point, I'm not really interested. And why? Because we're in the middle of the zone of consolidation. Right? We could take this trade going long, but we have a 4-hour engulfing candle here. Right? So if we take this position going long, all price has to do is give us a retest of this area to go back down. Right? But again, we're just stuck in the zone of consolidation. We know that this is the area where price is just going to trap traders the entire time. So right now, I'm just taking a step back. Again, in a zone of consolidation, where are we taking our trades? At the top of the zone or at the bottom? After the rejection of the lows to go back up, or after the rejections of the highs to go back down? Or we're going to wait for price to give us a break of the highs to give us a retest to continue, or a break of the low to give us the retest to continue going short. But in the middle of the zone of consolidation, this is what the market makers are going to do, right? For the traders who trade patterns, they're going to believe that this is a shoulder head shoulder, price gave you a break of the shoulder, and a lot of people are getting into this position here to go short. How many traders do you think are going to get trapped? Right? At the same time that they gave you confirmations of sells, they're also giving you confirmations of buys for the people who know candlestick analysis. Right? Which is the bullish engulfing candle, if it prints in 11 minutes. Right? So just in this area alone, you have buyers and sellers in the same area. Just a little bit higher, you have sellers at the 4-hour engulfing candle, the bearish engulfing candle. So there's certain, there are going to be things that is going to be a little bit more difficult to see more than others, because it's obviously, again, it all ties down to chart vision. Right? And being able to see all this happen before it happens, right? Because a lot of people are really good at seeing it after it happened, but after it happened, you already missed a trade, or after it happened, it already hit your stop loss. But being able to see this happen in real time, that's what the goal is for everybody. That's what the goal should be. Like, okay, how does he know this is going to happen before it happens? Just kind of, how many times have we seen this happen before in the charts? Hundreds of times, thousands of times. Right? Tens of thousands of times. So it's really all about sharpening that edge. Let me know if that made sense, Mr. Bashir. Got it? Alright, perfect. It's already 9:38. I didn't even notice it was 9:30 already. It's looking like a slow day, man. I might not be looking for any trades for today. Thanks. No problem, my brother. Let me know if anybody else has any other questions, anything you want me to talk about, anything you want me to explain, let me know. We'll give the market till 10:30, so I'll give it about another hour. If yeah, if by 10:30 if we don't really see anything developing, then we'll be done for the morning and we'll be back tonight again. But we could kind of already see, right? USD CAD is disrespecting this area. Once again, kind of already knew that was going to happen beforehand. We never got the shift that we wanted to see. Price gave us a little change of character last night and then came back down, right? So like once you already start seeing price ping-ponging one area, it's pretty much you already know what's gonna happen, right? There's no need to rush into a trade, right? And we know 30 and USD CAD move opposite. US 30 tapped into our 4-hour engulfing, but again, very low probability area. We're in the middle of the zone of consolidation. We're in the middle of the zone of consolidation. It gave sellers who trade patterns, right? Again, there's a shoulder, head, shoulder. It gave these confirmations to go short. If you took it, you went straight to stop loss. In the same area, they have an engulfing candle. We already know that this is a low probability zone. Again, very similar to USD CAD. So that's pretty much it. Like, there's really no other trades to look at. NZD USD decided to go right back up after rejecting the lows from yesterday, which is okay. We already knew that was gonna happen once we saw that. Which already gave us another indication, like, hey, this is a low probability area. And gold is doing exactly what gold does, man. Just it's continuing the trend, higher highs, higher lows the entire time, going back up to our 30-minute highs and our daily highs already. So should be an interesting rest of the week for sure. Again, the only pair that really gave us a beautiful move looked beautiful all day was US oil. But again, that entry that was given right before the market closed, so never had an opportunity to trade it. We could go down the list. Again, AU disrespected the shorts once again. We already knew that was going to happen. We're still in an overall pullback. AUD CAD is in the same area as AUD USD. Euro AUD decided to go right back down once again. Why? We're in a zone of consolidation. We went back to the top of the zone of consolidation, went right back down. Again, all these pairs are doing exactly what they got to do. It's our job to just be patient and wait for the right confirmations and wait for the right entries to get into the chart. We could sit here and argue about EU, but I'm not even gonna mess with it. Peak high territory, we already know what's gonna happen, right? GA, we could see what's happening. Same thing we talked about yesterday. 800 EMA respected the 800 EMA and went right back down, right? Exactly what we talked about yesterday. GCAD, very similar situation. GJ, right? Trapping a lot of traders, man. I know a whole bunch of traders who were taking these long positions to fill this gap. And again, middle of the zone of consolidation, man, you're gonna get trapped. You have to wait. There's no other way around it. You have to wait for the right confirmations. You cannot get ahead of yourself. When you get ahead of yourself, that's when you're gonna start losing trades, right? So GJ, we just gotta be patient, right? We could see that price gave us a higher high change of character. We went back down and gave us a change of character back down to the bottom. So gotta be patient with GU. Once GU starts trending again, that's when we'll start taking it. GU, very similar to EU, right? Yeah, we have a 30-minute change of character break of structure, but we're right on the 800 EMA. Not a high probability area to take a trade. No engulfing candles, nothing on the 4, nothing on the 1, nothing on the 30. Right? We could go down to the 15, but we already see there's nothing there. We spoke about NZD USD already. We spoke about 30 CAD, ZAR, the same thing as USD CAD, literally the exact same. Gold, we already talked about that. Bitcoin hit STP ADR for the day already. And then oil obviously already gave us that entry on the move for the day, which was the 15-minute engulfing candle to the 372, that third day push to the bottom. So that's pretty much it, guys. Any questions? Anything you want me to talk about? Anything you want me to explain again? Anything at all, let me know. If not, we'll be done for the day and we'll be back again tonight for the isolation session. No questions in the chat? Going once? Anything at all, let me know, guys. You've done enough for the day. Thank you, Miss Beer. Have some rest. I appreciate that, my brother. Thank you, thank you. Display in text. Alright, guys, have a good rest of your day. We'll see you guys tonight for the isolation session. Peace out.